I poisoned my husband's coffee that morning, not with arsenic or some dramatic toxin from a spy novel, but with the slow-drip betrayal he'd been feeding me for 20 years. Watching him choke on his own lies felt like justice served black and bitter. As the casket lowered into the rain-soaked earth of that God-forsaken Connecticut cemetery, my grown children, twins, sharp as switchblades and twice as cutting, didn't even glance back. They were already en route to a beach bash in the Hamptons, popping champagne for Daddy's liberation from the cancer that finally claimed him. And me? Kinsley Harper, the devoted wife who'd buried his secrets deeper than his bones. I stood there alone, the wind whipping my veil like a noose, whispering the first vow of my revenge. They would all pay, not with blood, but with the unraveling of everything they thought they owned. It started, like most American tragedies, in the glow of a suburban dream turned nightmare. Back in '05, when we were young and flush with .com cash, Jack and I built our empire in Stanford, Harper Innovations, a tech firm peddling data analytics to Wall Street wolves. I was the quiet force behind the curtain, coding late nights while he glad-handed at galas, his charm a weapon sharper than any algorithm. Our twins, Riley and Reagan, arrived like thunderclaps in '08, red-faced miracles that glued us tighter than venture capital rounds. We had the split-level colonial on Shipping Point, the yacht club membership, the summers in Nantucket. Outsiders saw perfection, insiders knew the rot. Jack's first betrayal wasn't a woman, it was money. In 2012, during the fiscal cliff scare, he cooked the books. Not a skim here or there, but a full-blown Ponzi-like scheme, siphoning client funds into offshore shells to cover bad bets on crypto precursors. I found the ledgers by accident, buried in a thumb drive labeled Family Photos. My stomach dropped like a market crash. We could have gone to prison, both of us. But Jack, with that boyish grin masking the shark beneath, knelt by our bed one night, tears streaming. Kins, it's us against the world. The kids, they'd lose everything. You're the smart one, fix it for me. Fix it. As if I were his personal IT support for felonies. I did. God help me, I did. Rewrote the code, laundered the trails through dummy accounts I fabricated, made it look like a glitch in the system. The SEC sniffed, but never bit. We emerged cleaner than a whistleblower's confession. Jack rose higher, board seats, TED Talks on ethical AI, while I faded into the PDA mom, baking zucchini bread for bake sales and biting my tongue at dinner parties. The guilt gnawed at me like termites in the foundation, but love, or what I mistook for it, kept me silent. Until the second betrayal, Elena. She slithered in during the pandemic, our VP of operations, all yoga-toned ambition and whispers of disruption. Jack called her his secret weapon, but I saw the late-night texts, the hotel charges in Providence. By 2022, it wasn't just an affair, she was pregnant. He confessed in our kitchen, over cold takeout lo mein, as if breaking the news of a fender bender. It's a fresh start, Kins. We've been coasting. Elena gets me. The vision. Vision. The word tasted like bile. Riley and Reagan, then juniors at Yale, overheard the screaming match that followed. They sided with him, of course. Mom, you're so controlling. Riley spat. Her eyes. His eyes. Cold as quartz. Reagan nodded, scrolling TikTok mid-argument. Dad deserves happiness too. I didn't divorce him. Not then. Instead, I played the long game, the American way. Smile through the chemo when the pancreatic diagnosis hit in '24, hold his hand as the morphine dulled his edges, all while Elena birthed their son, little Theo, in a private suite at Greenwich Hospital, funded by our joint accounts. The twins visited her there, cooing over the miracle baby, while I scrubbed Jack's vomit from the sheets. Hypocrisy hung in the air thicker than the chemo fog. Jack died whispering her name, not mine. Elena inherited the bulk. His will, rewritten in secret, left her the company, the beach house, a trust for Theo that dwarfed the pittance for Riley, Reagan, and me. The funeral was a farce. St. Mary's Episcopal, that stone behemoth in New Canaan where we'd baptized the twins, now echoing with half-hearted hymns from his golf buddies. Elena sat front row in designer black, Theo gurgling on her lap like a prop in a soap opera. Riley and Reagan arrived late, hungover from a pre-funeral rager, their whispers carrying. At least now we can party without the guilt trips. They skipped the graveside entirely, texting me a group chat photo from the Hamptons. Them with Elena, arms linked, toasting to new beginnings. My phone buzzed as dirt hit the coffin. Sorry, Mom. Traffic. Traffic. From a chopper pad. That's when the hook sank deep. Standing there, mud caking my heels, I felt the fracture. Not just grief, but fury, pure and unfiltered, the kind that births monsters in quiet towns like ours. I wasn't mourning Jack anymore. I was exhuming him, piece by venomous piece. The revenge? It wouldn't be swift or cinematic, no Molotovs or midnight confessions. No, mine would be surgical, a virus in the system, exploiting the very codes I'd once wielded to save him. They thought they'd won the inheritance lottery? I'd rewrite the will of fate itself. First target, the company. Harper Innovations hummed on, Elena at the helm, her innovative pivots bleeding cash into vanity projects, NFT art collectives, AI therapy bots that gaslight users. I had back doors, ghosts in the machine from the old laundering days. Sleepless nights in the guest room, laptop glowing like a Ouija board. I slipped in, altered contracts, inflated vendor fees rerouting to anonymous shells. Not enough to topple her, but to erode, lawsuits from jilted clients, bored whispers of incompetence. By week's end, her stock options tanked 15%. She blamed market volatility, but I sipped chamomile in the kitchen, watching the CNBC ticker like a scorecard. The twins were trickier, those mirrors of their father. Riley, the aspiring influencer with her empowerment vlogs that reeked of performative feminism. Reagan, the quant bro at Goldman, trading memes for millions. They'd cut me off post-funeral, their Insta feeds a shrine to excess. Yacht selfies with Theo, captions like, family redefined, red heart blessed. But blood's a funny thing, it leaves traces. I started small. Anonymous tips to Yale's alumni network about Riley's creative essay submissions, plagiarized from ChatGPT. I'd bet my widow's weeds. For Reagan, a whisper to his HR about insider trading vibes. Nothing provable, just enough to trigger an audit. Elena sensed the noose tightening first. She cornered me at the reading of the secondary will, the one for household effects, in Jack's lawyer's oak-paneled office on Park Avenue. Kinsley, whatever this is, it's beneath you. Her voice dripped concern, but her eyes darted like a cornered ferret. I smiled, folding my hands over the mahogany table. Beneath me? Darling, I've been under you for years. She flushed, Theo fussing in her arms. That's when she flipped, offered me a buyout from the company, a cool $1 million to start fresh. A bribe wrapped in pity. I took it, wired straight to my new Cayman account, the first brick in my fortress. But revenge isn't a solo act. It demands accomplices, even unwitting ones. Enter Marcus, Jack's old college roommate, now a PI in Bridgeport with a liver pickled from too many stakeouts. I'd known him from poker nights, back when Jack still pretended fidelity. Over dive bar wings and IPAs, I spilled just enough. The affair, the will, the kid's abandonment. Not asking for dirt. I lied, sliding him a retainer. Just clarity. He delivered in dossiers. Elena's pre-Jack DUIs buried in expunged records. Riley's sorority hazing videos circulating on dark web forums. Reagan's crypto wallet tied to a pump-and-dump scam. Ammo, all of it, loaded but not yet fired. As autumn leaves turned the Merritt Parkway to fire, I felt the shift, the that creeping tension of a storm front rolling in from Long Island Sound. Elena's emails grew frantic. We need to talk about the discrepancies. The twins' calls, rare as hen's teeth, carried an edge. Mom, why are people asking about my transcripts? I played innocent, the grieving widow knitting scarves for grandchildren that might never come. But inside, the plan crystallized. Not destruction, but exposure. Let them choke on their own reflections, the way I'd choked on Jack's. Winter clamped down on Connecticut like a vice, the kind that squeezes secrets out of frozen ground. Christmas came and went without cards from the kids. Elena's feed glowed with a blended family tree trimming. Theo in a Santa onesie that cost more than my mortgage payment. I spent the holiday alone in the big house, the one Jack left me in his generosity, toasting with bourbon to ghosts. Marcus's latest drop arrived via encrypted drive, audio files of Elena schmoozing investors, her voice pitching disruptive synergies while pocketing kickbacks. The twins? Riley was spiraling, her vlog subs tanking after a leaked clip of her trashing boomer moms went viral for all the wrong reasons. Reagan dodged compliance calls, his bonus on ice. I didn't pull the trigger yet. Timing's everything in revenge, like shorting a stock before the crash. Instead, I rebuilt, traded the Colonial for a sleek condo in Norwalk, waterfront views that mocked the Hamptons horizon. Enrolled in coding boot camps, not for redemption, but refinement. My fingers flew over keys, weaving webs, bots that scraped socials, algorithms predicting their next missteps. It was cathartic, this digital sorcery, turning the tools of my imprisonment into weapons of release. Elena struck first, the schemer unmasked. She showed up unannounced on New Year's Eve, heels clicking on my marble foyer like countdown clocks. Theo trailed, clutching a stuffed whale, his tiny face a knife twist, Jack's nose, my dimples. Kinsley truce. She thrust a bottle of Veuve, her smile brittle as Rice Krispies. We cracked it on the balcony, city lights smearing below like spilled ink. That's when she flipped again, vulnerability her new ploy. Jack wasn't a saint, but neither was I. He promised me the world, stability, legacy. Now it's crumbling, and the kids. They're pulling away. Lies, mostly. Marcus had her text to a divorce attorney dated pre-Jack's diagnosis, but the crack in her armor sang to me. I leaned in, wind whipping my hair. What do you want, Elena? Absolution. She laughed, sharp and hollow. No. Partnership. The company's bleeding. Your hacks are elegant. I'll give you that. Join me. Fix it, and we split the salvage. Partnership. The audacity burned. But I saw the play. She needed my skills to staunch the wounds I'd inflicted. I feigned consideration, let her ramble about co-parenting Theo with the twins, all while my mind raced. Accept, and I'd be inside the beast. Decline, and she'd escalate. I accepted, of course. By Martin Luther King Day, I was consulting at Harper HQ in Stamford, glass walls, open-plan purgatory buzzing with millennial burnout. Elena paraded me as the founder's widow, tech whisperer, her arm linked in mine for photo ops. The twins caught wind, their group chat exploding. WTF, Mom? Sucking up to the homewrecker? I replied with emojis, hearts, champagne flutes, fueling their outrage. Perfect. From the inside, the sabotage deepened. I audited her vanity spends, accidentally forwarding red flags to the board. Planted rumors of her pilfering. Nothing criminal, just sloppy enough for audits. Elena countered slyly, bumped my bonus into a slush fund she controlled, testing loyalty. When I pushed back, she flipped cold. Don't forget, Kinsley, I know about the old books. Jack told me everything. Blackmail, wrapped in silk. My pulse thrummed, but I smiled. Then you know I buried bodies before breakfast. The twins descended in February, a united front of resentment. Riley, all Lululemon armor and filtered glow, cornered me in the conference room. This is pathetic. Dad's barely cold. And you're Elena's lapdog? Reagan loomed, his Brooks Brothers suit rumpled from red-eye flights. And those Yale rumors? That was you, right? Trying to teach us a lesson? I met their glares, the room's AC humming like Judgment Day. Lessons? Sweethearts, life's the teacher. Your father taught me that. That's when the fracture showed. Riley teared up, Reagan shifted uncomfortably. We loved him, Mom. But you made him miserable, always nagging about integrity. Lies Jack fed them, no doubt, over Scotch nights without me. I could have unloaded then, the Ponzi, the cover-up, how I'd shouldered his sins so they could yacht in innocence. But no, Revelation's a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. Instead, I handed them dossiers, sanitized versions, just enough to crack their idols. Riley's plagiarism flagged by Turnitin, Reagan's trades mirroring insider tips from Elena's pillow talk. They stormed out, vowing disownment. Elena watched from her corner office, smirking. Divide and conquer? I shrugged. Family tradition. But her flip came swift. That night, cops at my door, anonymous tip about corporate espionage. Handcuffs glinted under porch lights. I spent the night in Norwalk PD, the metallic tang of regret on my tongue. Released on bail by dawn. Marcus's doing, no doubt. She'd overplayed. The charge? Baseless, but the headlines screamed. Harper widow accused in firm sabotage. Public opinion split like a fault line. Twitter, X, whatever, lit up. Team Kinsley trending with memes of scorned wives rising. Justice for Jack countering with tales of my instability. Elena played victim flawless, CNN interview teary-eyed. She was family once. This betrayal. It's heartbreaking. The twins amplified. Insta lives decrying toxic parenting. I lawyered up, countersued for defamation, but the real war brewed private. Spring thawed the tension into frenzy. Marcus unearthed gold. Jack's original will, pre-Elena rewrite, hidden in a safety deposit box in Hartford. It left everything to me and the twins. Equal shares, no love child loopholes. Forgery? Elena's signature, botched. But confrontation meant court, exposure of the Ponzi ghosts. I weighed it, justice or vengeance, and chose the gray. Leaked the will to a tabloid stringer, anonymous, with a twist, implied the twins knew, had advised the changes for their cut. Pandemonium. Elena holed up, Theo shipped to her sisters in Boca. The twins fractured. Riley blamed Reagan. You said it was legit. He ghosted her for a Eurobender. I watched from my condo, now a war room of screens, the algorithm I'd coded pinging alerts. Elena's desperate Venmo to a fixer, Riley's DMs begging therapy recs. The climax loomed, that polarizing peak where right and wrong blur like brake lights in rain. It hit on Mother's Day, fittingly cruel. Elena summoned me to the old beach house in the Hamptons, neutral ground, she claimed, for Theo's sake. The drive up I-95 was a blur of salt air and spite, my trunk packed with the original ledgers, USBs, the works. She waited on the deck, wind chimes clanging like accusations, Theo napping inside. End this, she said, voice raw. I'll sign it all over, the company, the trusts. Just stop. I laid it out. The Ponzi, my cover, Jack's deathbed deceit. Her face cycled, shock, denial, fury. You think you're the victim? He chose me because you suffocated him. Flip after flip, her masks peeling. Then the hook. She confessed complicity in the will forgery, tears mixing with rage. The kids pushed it. They hated you, Kinsley. Saw you as the chain around Dad's neck. The twins, my own flesh, architects of my ruin. Rage crested, but I held. Sign, I said, sliding papers. She did, trembling. Victory? Or Pyrrhic? As I drove back, phone buzzing with news alerts. Harper scandal explodes. Forged will, hidden crimes. Doubt crept. Had I avenged, or just orphaned us all? Summer scorched the Northeast, turning blacktop to blister and grudges to wildfires. The beach house signing leaked. How? I still wonder. Marcus swears clean hands, igniting a media maelstrom that made OJ look like a parking ticket. Elena vanished into litigation limbo, her empire seized by federal suits dredging the Ponzi corpse. Theo? Custody battle brewing, her sisters citing unfit environments. The twins? Radio silence shattered by desperation. Riley's voicemails slurred with Zoloft and Zinfandel. Reagan's emails clipped, pleading, reconciliation consult. I could have crushed them then, testified to the forgery, painted them as co-conspirators, watched Yale yank Riley's degree and Goldman boot Reagan's ass. Public would eat it, the ultimate takedown of entitled spawn. But the twist gnawed. In Elena's confession, a kernel of truth. Had I suffocated Jack? Buried his sins? Yes, but at what cost to us? The kids grew up idolizing his shine, blind to my shadows. Revenge, I realized, wasn't excision. It was inheritance, the poison passing down. So I flipped. Not mercy, mind strategy. Met Riley first, in a Tribeca cafe that smelled of oat milk and regret. She looked hollowed, her glow dimmed to ash. Mom. I didn't know about the will. Reagan handled it, said it was Dad's wish. Lies, but her eyes, scared, not scheming, softened me a fraction. I slid her a folder. Therapy contacts, a job lead at a nonprofit coding for girls. Fix yourself, Riley. Or don't. But don't call me until you do. She wept, hugging awkward. I stiffened, the embrace of foreign country. Reagan was steelier, confronting me in my lobby, fresh from a deposition haircut. This your endgame? Destroy us to feel whole. I poured scotch. Neat, like Jack, and laid bare the ledgers. I carried your father's weight so you could fly. But wings clip when you peck at the hand. He paced, the quant's mind worrying probabilities. What now? Prison for all? I shook my head. Plea. Community service. Donate the trusts to audit reform. Make it right, or watch it burn. He chose right, or survival, brokered the family settlement. Company dissolved, assets funneled to victim restitution. Elena got probation, a plea of duress from Jack's manipulation. Theo? Joint custody, though she'd fight it tooth and nail. The twins? Grounded in reality, Riley pivoted to authentic advocacy. Her vlogs raw now, subscriber scars healing. Reagan traded Wall Street for fintech ethics, lecturing on the follies of unchecked greed. Me? Kinsley Harper, unmoored widow. I walked the Sound's edge at dawn, the water lapping like unanswered questions. The revenge culminated not in courts, but quiet reckonings. Polarizing, yes. Friends called me saint or serpent. How could you forgive? How could you destroy? No one clean, all complicit in the Harper rot. The final twist? A letter from Jack's safe, dated his last lucid day. Kins, if you're reading this, I failed you worst. The will. It's wrong. Fix it. Love the kids harder than you hate me. Jay? Had he known? Plotted a posthumous flip? Or guilt's fever dream? Debate fodder for therapy couches and barstools. I burned it on the beach, ashes scattering like confetti at a funeral no one attended. Happy ending? Tragic? Neither. American as apple pie a la mode with arsenic drizzle, bittersweet, churning, leaving you hungry for more. Now, as fall creeps back, invitations trickle, Riley's engagement brunch, Reagan's ethics panel, even Elena's awkward coffee for Theo. I RSVP maybe, the algorithm in my head still pinging threats. Revenge taught me, betrayal's a cycle, not a chain. Break it, or become it. Standing alone. No more. But the wind off the water still whispers. They chose celebrations over you once. Will you let them again? And so, the hook closes, not snapped, but looped, ready for the next cast. In this land of second acts, who's to say the encore won't demand blood after all?